Good morning. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Another day, another dollar. Not gonna lie, I didn't want to stream today. I didn't even want to work today. I was actually gonna catch up on sleep. But I was like, you know what? Let me just do it. So here I am. Okay. Need to move some things around. Okay, cool. So I have basically a few things today. Gamma docs, outreach, and then making a sales script. So hopefully by next week I can literally start scheduling mock sales calls. A video that I want to make is that if you have an obsessive personality, you will be successful. Um, I don't think now is the best time to make it though, but maybe towards the end. All right, I'm gonna get to work and mute my mic now. Okay, I feel it now. So I'm gonna make the video that I've been wanting to make, which is going to be the success formula. Bro, I'm gonna delete this actually, or erase it. Hold on, let me actually. You guys are gonna hear some weird sounds, so forgive me. Okay, so let me. I'm gonna go over there. And then increase. Actually, I'll do this so it's easy for me to return it back. And then I can also like zoom in here if I wanna. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. So I'm gonna erase this. I'm gonna erase all of this actually. Because I track this another way now, so this is redundant. Alright, let me take off my jacket. Okay, cool. Let me start recording. When I was 21, I was lucky enough to stumble across the formula for success. And honestly, I think it's because I'm just like decently good at recognizing patterns. Because I think, in fairness, like I stumbled across a lot of good information when I was younger, but knowing the information and applying the information are two very different things. So, in this video, I'm going to share the formula for success that I learned. Obviously, it's subject to change, right? Like, I could keep at it and, find something new to do and be like, oh, actually, this is another ingredient, or this is actually more like the actual operation that's happening. I don't know. It's subject to change. That's the entire point of this thing. But I'm going to talk about the formulas and the terms, right? The math terms. So a term is like, if you say 5 times 7, that's a term. That's a math term. So I'm going to talk about like 5, for example, and 7 are terms of that expression. So I'm going to talk about the terms required for success, how I discovered it, and yeah. So this was in, I think it was 2023, and in this year I had an internship, and in that internship I basically got paid just to listen to podcasts. So I literally exposed myself to so many different people intentionally, like so many different things that I didn't normally watch, because I told myself I was open-minded, and then I looked at my life and I was like, I'm actually not as open-minded as I say I am. So let me intentionally expose myself to these different podcasts and different viewpoints that I wouldn't normally listen to. And so I found myself constantly listening to super successful people, likes of Mr. Beast, likes of, a bunch of billionaires that sold, right, exited companies, um billionaire billionaires that sold and exited companies and stuff like that. And so while I was watching their stuff, and a bunch of YouTubers too, because at the time that's what I wanted to do was be a YouTuber. But after watching all that stuff, I started noticing patterns of their success. Because I think prior to that, I used to think it was all luck. Maybe they hit a ripple in time, and then I realized that success. Actually, I'm gonna restart this because I think this is a better hook. I think yeah, this is a better hook. What if I told you that success is not luck and can be guaranteed by one simple formula? So I discovered this formula a few years ago when I was 21, and I was at this internship, and I basically got paid to sit there and listen to podcasts. And so while I was listening to podcasts, I specifically listened to podcasts of super successful people, successful YouTubers. And so prior to that point in time, I always used to think that success was luck, right? That these people just hit some unique, you know, jackpot, and they just stumbled across like a unique jackpot out of luck. But after watching those podcasts, I realized that their success actually is not based off of luck alone, and it's something that they carefully engineered for themselves. And I was aware of this formula, but I hadn't started actually putting it to use until about last year, just about. So I'm going to tell you what this formula is and how you can use it to guarantee your own success. It's very hard. It's hard work, right? Which is, ironically part of the formula, but it's very, very hard. It's not easy. Just because you know the formula doesn't mean that you will, be able to use it and be successful, but it's at least a good starting point. So the first term in the formula is consistency. Actually, I'm just going to give you the whole formula. So it's consistency times hard work, or technically it's just work, but typically it's hard work depending on the stuff that you're doing, and then times um, consistency times hard work times direction. This is what I call it. I call it direction. Some people would instead call it leverage. And then plus, so all of this plus luck is success. So again, if you have consistency times hard work times direction plus luck gives you success. Now I'm going to break this down a little bit further, but consistency is important because if you just work hard and you just work hard in the right direction, but you do it very sporadically, right? Like this is your working graph, right? Then there's not enough to compound. And what you need for success is compounding. And that's why these functions are multiplicative, or these terms are multiplicative. It's because when you multiply these things, they're able to compound. And so consistency doesn't allow, like a lack of consistency doesn't allow for compounding. So, and what you'll notice, which I'll talk more about later, or I guess you'll notice as I continue talking about it, is that each of these three terms are multiplied with each other. So that means that if any one of these are zero, then you cannot have, like, you cannot get success unless you get really lucky. That's literally the point of this slug right here. So hard work, you have to work hard, right? You have to put in some kind of work. Typically it's hard work. Um, yeah, you just have to put in the work. Like there's work to be done. You just do the work. That's literally it. Obviously, you cannot get successful without hard work or work in and of itself. Again, unless you get really lucky. And then direction, right? Like you need to work hard and consistently in the right direction. So if you work hard and consistently, there's a lot of people who work hard and work consistently at a McDonald's job, for example, but they're probably not going to get successful um, in the way that they want to. So you need to make sure that you're working in the right direction. If you're learning about AI, it's probably the right direction at this point in time. If you're learning about how to solve rich people's problems, it's probably the right direction. If you're learning about how to be a doctor, it's probably the right direction. If you're learning how to I don't know, do some niche job that nobody wants to do but makes a lot of money, it's probably the right direction. So you need to look at what that direction is, and a lot of times you can pick stuff that is very high in leverage, like solving rich people's problems. And then you'll notice that the last term is luck. So the reason why luck is an additive term and not a multiplicative term is because you can have none of this, but if you have amazing luck, like let's say one day you're going in a train and you meet like I don't know, you meet some billionaire guy and maybe you strike up conversation with him and he likes you, so then he offers you a job, and then from there you learn like you can do like nothing, right? Because going on that train and like talking, like having the conversation, that took no consistency, no hard work, and no direction. You're literally just going to where you're going, but then you get super lucky, you get a job, and then you get to learn, and then you get to move on and do your own thing, right? That took a lot of luck, being in that train, being at the right place at the right time. So you can have nothing but still have a lot of luck and still be able to find success. um, but so this can be moralizing and demoralizing to some people, because a lot of people will just disregard this part and be like, it's just luck, like how do I get that? But I like to think of it as like an empowering thing, which is like, this doesn't matter, like you can just pretend that this doesn't exist, because if this term is high enough, then whatever this is becomes irrelevant. I want to say that one more time because that's super important. Because this term, consistency times hard work times direction, is multiplicative, right? It's compounding, so it's multiplicative. It goes, it keeps adding on. Because this is multiplicative, if this is high enough, then this becomes irrelevant. And that's literally how it goes in like actual math formulas and stuff. So if you study physics, for example, you will realize sometimes they have a term that's quote unquote negligible, right? They have like a variable in a formula that's negligible. So typically you would put it in, but because the rest of the formula, like the other parts of the formula is so high, right? Like when you plug in the numbers, it's so high, there's no point in putting in that term into the formula. So you can just solve for it without the term. So what this means now is that the actual success formula that actually works for people can look something just like this: consistency times work times that's times direction equals success. And that is empowering to me. Now, obviously, you can have, like I said, you can have luck, right? You can have good luck, like positive luck. You can also have bad luck. That's possible. But as I said before, if this term is high enough, then this is negated. It doesn't matter. But if this is just, okay, then this is, you know, kind of plays more into it, right? It's still a factor. So this is why Hormozy says stuff like, make sure that you do enough work so that, like, or you do enough volume, because volume negates luck, right? Luck is needed for success. But if you do enough volume, so enough hard work here, then it can negate luck. And that's the formula that I came across. So hopefully, I make these videos to help my younger self, because um, I feel like I would have loved to know this information sooner and to be able to act on it sooner. Because, like I said, like knowing the information is one thing, but being able to act on it is another thing, and it's very important that you have both. You both know it and you're able to act on it. And so, um, yeah, like, I guess the main advice that I would give myself that I tried to take, but still early days. The main advice that I would give, like the main takeaway from this, is literally to pick one thing, right? You're gonna pick one thing, you're gonna focus on it. All your energy and attention is going to be focused on that one thing over a long enough period of time for this consistency to build up. You're going to work hard at it, right? You're going to consistently apply work to this one thing, and eventually you might get some luck, right? And eventually you will hit the success. And that is what I have discovered in my life. And so hopefully you can discover that too and get to it. All right, cool. Yeah, only thing to plug is I am live on this channel typically Monday to Friday from 5 to 8, sometimes 4:30 to 8. Um, and I just do work. I'm literally applying this in real time. So if if you want to ask me questions, I don't typically read comments, but I think I have a way for you to like contact me or something in the description of the lives if you're curious or something. I don't know. Um, and then that's basically the only thing I have to plug right now. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Okay, cool. So that was the first video that I wanted to make. And then the next video was going to be about um, actually had a voice memo on it. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, it's not there. I'm trying to think. It's on my phone, but I don't like. Hold on, I'm gonna have to. I'm still here, but I just need to check something real quick. Oh yes. Okay. Okay. So the next video I'm gonna make is gonna be titled "Having an addictive personality guarantees your success," or that's gonna be like the thesis of it. Or no, if you have an addictive personality, you will be successful. Bro, I gotta zoom in, bro, because these pants are fucking. It's hilarious a little bit. Okay, cool. Or why don't I just, awesome. Okay. Cool, 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 cool. Okay, so in the last video, I talked about the success formula, and in this video, I want to talk about the kind of person that is the most likely to apply that success formula and be successful and win. And that kind of person is someone with an addictive personality. Okay. And so the reason why is very simple. We're going to talk about it in this, but just know that if you're watching this and you have an addictive personality, then you have all the ingredients to win. So obviously, I think a lot of people watch things looking for quick fixes, and you might watch this channel or this video looking for a quick fix, but just know that nothing here is a quick fix. Everything I talk about on this channel has taken me years to learn and even longer to master, right? Like learning something and mastering it are two very different things. And so I'm still in that process with you for the most part. So if you have an addictive personality, I'm not saying that you will hit your definition of success, which we'll talk about within the next few weeks or months, even, right? Typically, it might take years once you put all the pieces together that I give you on this channel, like the success formula and, everything else, like all the other mindset stuff. But I am saying that you will be able to put the pieces together because not everyone is able to put the pieces together, but if you have an addictive personality, you will be able to put the pieces together. So what an addictive personality is, at least to me, because I have an addictive personality, what an addictive personality is someone that fixates on something a lot for a long period of time. So I'm going to speak from my own experience, but I'm the kind of person who has very few interests. Like I always get stumped when people ask me like what are your interests because I have so little and I go super deep on my interests, and so because I have very little and I go very deep on it, I don't like to talk about them with people because because like sometimes I come off as like, you know, kind of like weird because I'm insanely obsessed with like some niche, like a few niche things. And so I know a lot about like very few things. So um that's like a characteristic of someone with an obsessive personality. Another thing, and this is just like a minor thing, but I can eat the same food for days and days and days on end without getting tired. I can, what else? Like I can wear like my wardrobe is pretty much like the same and has been the same since high school. So it's basically just white t-shirts, black t-shirts, and maybe like a few colored ones in there too because I got them for free or something. But like I typically just wear t-shirts and shorts, and I have like systems around things in my life. Like I'm very obsessive about certain things, and recently, one of my obsessions has been productivity and squeezing the most out of my time. Um, but yeah, the reason why obsessive people end up being the most successful people is because they fixate. Okay, that is our word of the day, is to fixate. So the reason why this is good or important, you guys can't even see that. The reason why this is important, why fixating is important, is because as humans, we are very forgetful creatures. So if you fixate on something like a goal, right, then you're going to remember it and you're going to strive for it every day. That's one. Number two is if you read this book, I'm trying to see if I have it on my shelf right now. I don't think I have it with me. But if you read this book called Psycho Cybernetics, you will learn that we are also goal striving mechanisms. So if you fixate on your goal for long enough, our mind will find a way to get there somehow, some way, right? So it might take, like, this is not saying, again, because I feel like I have to say that because, you know, this is for the younger version of me. And the younger version of me would have watched a channel or a video like this and been like, oh, so it's going to be easy and this and that. Like, my body is going to do it for me. But no, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, and I'm not even saying that your body is going to do it for you, but I'm just saying that you have the mechanisms. Because of your addictive personality, you're able to fixate, and because you fixated because of psychocybernetics, you're most likely going to have a path mapped out, right? So, for example, just to drive this point home, have you ever been in a situation where you have like five different items, and you're like, oh, I have to carry all these five things and I only have two hands, and you don't even know how you're gonna do it. But then when you get there, you actually like you carry it and you don't even like you didn't have a plan, but you just figured it out. Like that, I think that's the best example because that happens to me all the time. But that's the best example of like psychocybernetics and how your brain, your body just creates a plan based off of what it knows that you need to do. So fixating, as I said, is super important because it helps with the success formula, specifically with the consistency part of the success formula. And so when you fixate on a goal, then you're able to be consistent enough in it to, you know, do it, right? So that's the most important part of having an addictive personality. Now, the last thing I want to address is that I said that if you have an addictive personality, you will be successful, and I stand by that. But I think a standing question that you might have is successful at what, right? Because success is very subjective. Success to me could mean $1 million a year. Success to, you know, my neighbor down the street could mean 500K a year, right? Success to Elon Musk could mean like $1 trillion a year, right? So success is very subjective. It means very different things. Success to a drug dealer could mean, or to a drug addict could mean just getting a fix a day. I don't know, bro, but like it's very subjective, and so you will be successful at your thing and the thing that you apply yourself to, and that is the point of this video. Because if you have an addictive personality and you apply it to drugs, you will be successful at drugs. You will, you will you will find a way to get your drugs and get your fix in the manner that you need it, right? If you have that addictive personality and you apply it to your life, to, let's say, the human body, right? You love finding out about the human body. You will be successful in the domain of the human body, whether that is being a doctor, whether that is being a scientist or a researcher or whatever the case may be. You'll be successful at that thing because you're addicted to it. You go deeper than most people. And I think it's important to realize that most people don't go deep on anything at all. And that's something that I kind of took for granted. I thought that everyone went as deep as me on things, but most people don't even go that deep. Most people are very shallow on things because they waste their brain on things that just don't even matter. So, if you are able to go deep on something and become obsessed with it and become addicted to that thing, then you will surpass most people in that thing. And so, if you're able to channel your addictive personality into whatever it is that you want to do, not drugs, whatever it is that you want to do, then you'll be successful at that thing. And that is the main point. That is the main thing, is being able to channel that addictive personality into something for the better. Because you can use that addictive personality for video games. You can use that addictive personality for, drugs, like I said. You can use it for other harmful substances, but obviously that's not beneficial to you. And video games could be beneficial to you if you're actually going to go pro, but that's basically like, I mean, it's possible for sure. But that's basically like, just trying to go pro in basketball. It's very hard. And so the people who are watching this who will say, you know what, like, I'm still going to do it anyway, that's the only people who this is meant for. Like, people who say that I know that I will do it. That's the only people that this is meant for, like, to actually go forward and try to achieve pro status with games, but it's very hard and the pay is not as good. So there are definitely other things that you can do. But anyway, the point here that I wanted to use to drive this home is that you can be successful at anything, but make sure that you're able to direct that obsessive personality and that addictive personality into something that's beneficial, something that is aligned with your goals and your desires. And once you do that, like night and day. And recently, last thing I'll say, because I've been talking, I talked about this a little bit in the beginning, but I have an addictive personality, as I said, and I've recently channeled my addictive personality into productivity and squeezing the most out of time, because I don't have that much time to do all the things that I want to do, especially for the business. And so I have obsessed over how do I get more time, right? And one of the things is like waking up early, which I'm experimenting with, and then also like some other productivity stuff. And so I've just been entrenched in that. And I've gone deeper than most people probably ever will in their lives. And so if you have an addictive personality, I feel like a lot of times people kind of say that it's a bad thing, right? It's treated as a negative, but I'm here to tell the younger version of Kadi who is watching or listening that it's not a bad thing. And it's actually a very positive thing and it's very helpful. You just need to figure out how to channel it. And I mean, the only advice I would give for that, because obviously it's not easy and it's different from person to person, but is to expose yourself to as many different things as possible, because sometimes like it's hard to control what you become addicted to, but once you expose yourself to many different things, you will find it. You will latch onto it, you will find it, and you can move forward from there. So that's all I have to say. Only thing I have to plug is the lives that I do on this channel Monday to Friday from about 5 to 8 a.m., 4:30 to 8 a.m. EST. If you're interested, come stop by, drop a comment. Um, I I don't read comments, but I will. I could start if if people start dropping comments. So yes, and yeah, I will see you in the next video, maybe in the lives. All right, bro. So I'm gonna. Cool. You're gonna hear some weird noises. I'm sorry, bro. I love making videos like that. I'm not gonna lie. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right, I'm gonna get back to work now, though. All right, it's about that time of the night. Sorry, I didn't feel bad. I felt bad just leaving. It's about that time of the morning. I'm gonna head out. I have another meeting to get to, but I will see you tomorrow, hopefully. Bye bye.